Hi, morning Year 5. Welcome to a new week of online learning. Hopefully you've all had a really nice restful weekend and you're ready to go and work extra hard. So the end of this week is the half-term holiday, so that means we need to work extra hard this week and then you get a nice rest the week after. Now, as Mr. Olin's told you, I'll be teaching your maths lessons this week. Now there's some good news and some bad news. So I'll start with the bad news. Bad news is I'm not going to be singing and dancing like Mr. Olin's, I'm afraid. That might actually be good news for some of you, but I know it's bad news for lots of you. So if you really enjoy Mr. Olin's singing and dancing, you're going to have to wait until after the half-term holidays to see that again, because I don't think I'll be doing that. But the good news is I'm feeling really excited about having a go at doing some online teaching, which is a really new way of doing things. And also I'm very, very excited to get to see all your fantastic maths work. So I can see your work that you send in on the Year 5 email address. So you'll just carry on doing that as usual, and I can't wait to see how you get on this week. So let's get started. So what do you need for today's lesson? Let's just move my face up there so it's not in the way. So you will need something to write with, ideally a pencil for maths, but if you only have pen, that's fine, and something to write on, so some kind of paper that you can write on. You might also want to get ready with today's independent task, which you can find on the Grange website under Online Learning Year 5. So you can find your task and get it ready. I've just put the email addresses down here just to remind you. This is where you need to send your work when it's finished, to the Year 5 email address. But also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email them directly to me on this email address here, so deputyhead@grange.harrow.sch.uk. Now, every time you see the little pause sign here, that means you're going to stop the video and get the things you need to do, or do whatever you need to do. So this is the first one, so pause the video, get all your things ready, and press play when you're ready to start. Right, so before we go into today's lesson, I just wanted to take a few steps back and see what we've learnt before this to get us to this point now. So I've been watching Mr. Olin's videos, and I know that he's taught you how to convert between metres and millimetres, how to convert between litres and millilitres. So now we're going to apply both of those things together to solving problems using those measurements. So hopefully you were really successful with learning how to convert between them, and now you'll apply it to solving some problems. So that's our little learning journey. Right, time for another pause. So we've got today's date and LI for you to write down. I've written the short date here because that's usually what we write in maths, and then the LI, which is to solve problems involving millimetres, metres, millilitres and litres. Now, if you're someone who's really speedy and you do things quickly, I've put a little challenge here for you to see if you can write the date in Roman numerals. So pause the video and get your LI and date written down and press play when you're ready to start. Right, let's run through our steps to success for today. So how are you going to be successful in solving those problems? So you will be successful if you can convert between metres and millimetres, convert between litres and millilitres, use your knowledge of conversion to solve problems, and also use all four operations, so adding, subtracting, multiplying and dividing, to solve those problems. So those are our steps to success for today. Before we go into our main task of learning, let's do a quick recap. So I'm sure Mr. Olin's has told you before about the importance of automaticity. So that's being able to automatically do something. So that's what we aim for with our times tables, but it's also what we need to aim for with our conversion, that we can just do it like that really quickly. So here's a few things that you should know. If you get stuck when you're having a go, there's some clues over here to help you. So pause the video and have a try at answering the missing numbers in the questions. How did you do? So hopefully you know that there are 1,000 metres in a kilometre, 100 centimetres in a metre, and 10 millimetres in a centimetre, because you learnt that last week, so you should have got those all correct. If you didn't, you might want to go away and do some extra work on those and a bit of practice. Right, next bit of our recap. I'm just going to move my face again. So again, we've got some spaces here for you to fill in, but this time they're not all numbers. So the first one is a number, Then we have a word, something that you learnt about last week, and then we have a number as part of a fraction. So milli means 1 over what. Pause the video and see if you can answer these questions. Press play when you're ready. Here we go. So 1 litre is 1,000 millilitres. Litres are units which measure volume, and milli is 1,000th, 1 over 1,000. So again, if you got those wrong or you weren't sure, you might want to go back and look at Mr. Olin's videos from last week again and get ready. But if you got them right, I think you're ready to start today's lesson. So we're going to do some quick fire questions. I mentioned automaticity before. You should be able to answer these questions without doing any working out. You should be able to just do them in your head. If you get a bit stuck, I've put a little help box down the bottom here with some little tips to help you out. So press pause, have a go, and I'll see you in a second. Did you get them right? So 7,000 millimetres is 7 metres. 5.5 metres is 5,500 millimetres. 9.5 litres is the answer for 9,500 millilitres, and 2,400 millilitres in 2.4 litres. So hopefully you're getting to the point now where you can just do those really quick fire, and that will help you to solve the problems today. So we're going to start off. I'm going to have a go at a problem. If you want to have a go with me, that's absolutely fine. But if you want to just watch and listen whilst I go through it, this is my example for you. So that's absolutely fine. Now, I know last time you did problem solving with Mr. Olin's, he gave you some steps. So we're going to follow those same steps because hopefully you've had some practice with them already. So step number 1 is read the question. So let's read the question. Adam makes 2.5 litres of lemonade for a charity event. He pours it into 650 millilitre glasses to sell. He thinks he can sell 7 glasses. Is he correct? Prove it. So I've read the question. Step 2, what is the question asking us to do? I think the question, if I look at it again, I think it's asking us how many glasses he can make out of the total lemonade that he has, because it says he thinks he can sell 7 glasses. So, and it's saying, is he correct? So we need to work out how many glasses he can fill with his 2.5 litres of lemonade if the glasses hold 650 millilitres. So I think that's what he's asking us. Now the next step says, how are we going to find the answer? So it's good that we know what to do, but we need to think about how we do that. What are the steps involved? So I've had a look, and I think the first thing we need to do is some conversion, because I can see here the total amount of lemonade he has is in litres, but then it's pouring it into glasses that are in millilitres. So it's going to be really hard to work out if they're not the same measurement. So I think the first step is converting this total amount of lemonade into millilitres so that I can then share it into the glasses. So that's my first step. And then, once I know how much he's got in millilitres, I can divide it into the 650 millilitre glasses to see how many there are, and if he's correct with 7 glasses, or if it's more, or if it's less. So those are my 2 steps I've got to do to work out the answer. So let's have a go. So I've put my steps here to remind me. So the first step was to convert. Now, because I've got that automaticity, I don't need to do any working out here. I know that 2.5 litres is 2,500 millilitres. If I didn't know that, I could use a method to work it out. I could use multiplication and multiply by 1,000 because I know there are 1,000 millilitres in a litre. So I've done my first step. Now that I've got that in millilitres, I can share it into these 650 millilitre glasses. So I've got 1 glass of 650 millilitres and another glass of 650 millilitres. I think that's 1,300 millilitres. And then another one, that's 1,950. And then a 4th one, that seems to be 2,600 millilitres because I've added 650, another 650, and a 3rd 650, and a 4th 650, and I've already got to 2,600 millilitres. Now, I know from the beginning that Adam's only got 2,500 millilitres, so it doesn't look like he can even make 4 glasses because 2,600 is more lemonade than he has. It's 100 millilitres more. So actually, he can only make 3 glasses of lemonade with his total of 2,500. So we're going to have to take one away. So was he correct? Don't think he was. Adam needs to go and do some practice with his maths, doesn't he? So now I'm going to write out my answer with what I know. So Adam is incorrect because it asks me if he's correct. No, he's incorrect. And how do I know? How can I prove it? I know this because I know that 2.5 litres converts to 2,500 millilitres. And if you pour the 2,500 millilitres into 650 millilitre glasses, you can only fill a maximum of 3 glasses because 3 times 650 is 1,950 millilitres. If he did 4 glasses, this is my final bit to really prove my point, 4 glasses would be 2,600 millilitres. I've got my calculation there, which is 100 millilitres more lemonade than Adam has. So he was incorrect, and we've really proved that he was wrong because we've got our calculations here to show it. So if that was a question in a test, I think we would get full marks. Now, we've had a go. You've seen me try and solve a problem. Well, successfully solve a problem. Now we're going to see if we can do one together. So I'll help you a little bit, but I'd like you to pause the video as we go through and see if you can have a go on your own so that you can feel confident when we get to the independent tasks. So pause the video, read the question, first of all, read it all the way through and see if you can work out what the question is asking us to do. So if you remember way back, let's go back. Here, we wrote down the steps of what we needed to do, and we first of all started by finding out what is the question asking us. So pause the video, back, hang on a sec. Pause the video here, read the question through and see if you can work out what it's asking you. When you're ready to move on to the next step, press play. So hopefully you know now what the question is asking us to do. I think the question is asking us to work out how much cola Yasmin has in total, and then how many glasses she can pour that into. So the glasses are 100 mils. How many glasses can she fill? So we have to work out the total amount, and we have to work out how many glasses that goes into. So how are we going to do that? So you have to do some thinking now. What are our steps? Now I've written out some questions to help you, and I've done a few little clues, but you need to come up with a list of steps yourself. So pause the video, think about the steps you're going to take to answer this question, and when you're ready, come back and press play. So first thing we need to know is how much Coke does Yasmin have from the cans? Because it says here she's got 5 cans and 3 bottles. So we need to know how much she's got from the cans. So that would be 5 lots, 5 cans, times 330 mils, because that's how much it holds. Then we need to know how much she has from the bottles. So we've got 3 bottles and they're 1.25 litres in total. So we need to do 3 times 1.25 litres. But we've got the same problem again. The bottles are in litres, the cans are in millilitres. So how do we know which one to convert to? Well, it says here that the glasses are in millilitres. So it's going to be easiest if our total is in millilitres as well. So we're going to need to convert the bottles, the litres, into millilitres. So once we know our 3 times 1.25, we're then going to convert that to millilitres. Once we've added it together and got our total amount, we need to share it out, divide it by 100 because that's how much can go in each glass, and that will tell us the total amount of glasses. So hopefully, well done if you got those steps by yourself. If you didn't, hopefully it makes sense to you now and you know what to do. So let's see if we can work out the answer. Actually, pause the video, have a go yourself. That will help you feel really confident when it comes to your independent tasks. So see if you can work it out based on those steps we talked about. And when you're ready, press play. So here's my working out. So we've got the cans, 5 times 330, 1,650 mils. We've got the bottles, 3 times 1.25 litres is 3.75 litres. But you remember from before, we need to put those litres into millilitres. So either I can use my automaticity skill to know that that's 3,750, or if I'm not sure yet, I can times by 1,000, use a place value grid to know that it's 3,750 mils. Now I need to know the cans and the bottles all together, so I add those 2 measurements that we've just worked out together, to get 5,400 millilitres of Coke. So that's how much Coke she has altogether. But it's not asking us how much she has altogether, it's asking us how many glasses she can fill if the glasses hold 100 millilitres. So we're going to get all that cola that she's got and we're going to share it out into 100 millilitre glasses. So we're dividing by 100 and that gives us 54 glasses of cola that she can sell. So we write out our answer. Yasmin can sell 54 glasses of cola. And you may want to go over your working out to check that you haven't made any mistakes. Make sure you've got the correct answer. So you've seen me solve a problem. We've had a go at solving a problem together. Now I think it's your turn. So on the Grange Online Learning website under Year 5, you can find 2 tasks. There's one for Superstars and there's one for Blue Zone. So depending how you feel about today's lesson, if you feel like it was a bit tricky and you need a bit of practice, I would go for the Superstars task. If you feel like this was piece of cake, as Anna Shanth would say, go for the Blue Zone task, which is a little bit trickier. They're both quite hard. Now, you'll notice there's not that many questions on there. There's only 5 questions on each, but that's because each of those questions has quite a few steps and will take quite a long time. So don't worry if it's quite slow going and don't worry if you don't finish it all, just do as much as you can, okay? So you'll notice the pause sign is here again. So it's time to pause the video, have a go at filling in your task, and when you're ready for the answers, come back and have a look. Now it's really important that you have a go on your own first before watching the answers, because otherwise you haven't really learned anything, you haven't really challenged yourself. So pause now, come back when you're ready. Good luck. So here we go, we've got some answers here. So I'm not going to go through them in detail. If you do want me to go through any, you can email me and say, please could you explain this one, and I can do a follow-up. You'll notice that 5B and 3B are blank. They were the same question. They were the one where it said to come up with your own statements that were true or false. Now there's so many true or false things you could write about that, so I haven't written them all down there. But the rest of the answers are here. So you can pause the video and check your work, mark your work against what you've written. For question 5 of the Blue Zone task, I've had to put it on the next page because it's a table. So I'll turn over to that in a minute. But for now, pause the video, mark your work, and then we'll move on to that next question. Here we go. So question 5 of Blue Zone, here is the table for you to check. So check that against what you've written down. You can pause the video. If you didn't do the Blue Zone task, you can just keep going. Right, so hopefully you've completed all your work, you've done really well, and now I would like to see it. So please send me a picture or a scan or an email, however you've been doing it, to year5@grange.harrow.sch.uk. If there was something you didn't understand, or you would like me to go over something again, or you'd like a bit of extra help, you can drop me an email on deputyhead@grange.harrow.sch.uk and I'll get that directly as well. So I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson, and I will see you tomorrow for more learning about measurement. I think we're going to move on to imperial and metric units tomorrow. So I'll see you there.